And away
Okay.
we go.
So today we've went through something interesting that we haven't seen, that we will probably not see for the next 100 years.
Indeed.
What has transpired today has not happened since Labour destroyed and obliterated the Liberal Democrats, or what used to be the Liberal Democrats before World War One, and effectively became the party of the left. Today we have seen Reform UK conquer Manchester, conquer Hartlepool, win seats in Newcastle, win regional seats in Scotland, take seats that would have been where Niall Bevan, the founder of the NHS, ran as an MP. Today, Labour, lost. Today, Reform, they saw, they went, they conquered. They united factions in Wales and was able to build enough of a coalition to win at least 34 seats, which is amazing. I was a bit shocked with the amount of seats that the Tories did not get in Scotland, but it's a good sign. Anything you want to say about that?
Well, what I would say, and just that this year's local elections in general, has been quite the roller coaster, no matter which party you support, whether it be a party that's made lots of gains, or even a party that has made or have suffered heavy losses. Not just this year, but the year before that, and even the year before that somehow. And given the last few years, what goes on in the United Kingdom, it is hard to deny the next few years, up and towards the next general election in the UK.
Reform currently have 15 votes in Scotland. Labour have 17. I think there's maybe less than 20 left until it comes. Did you expect people to do well in Birmingham?
To be honest, I think with Birmingham, it could have gone any way, because I've actually watched a YouTube video about the politics within Birmingham. I know there's a prevalent Muslim population in Birmingham, and that actually played a role in the number of seats that
Reform got.
councillors in Birmingham Council got, on the platform that they want to represent their own unique cultural interest within the Birmingham City Council, as well as the other parties, which, although got the seats what they could get, nonetheless, it was quite a handful, the seats in Birmingham. There's always going to be many factors at play. It is not easy, given the chaos and the variety of opinions in how Birmingham City Council have their political makeup be made up out of all their councillors.
I think after today, I think people will have to look at Reform as not just only a old white person party. I think they'll have to realise that this party is a party that elects that there's people from multiple different ethnic backgrounds. Some could be Muslims, some could be Jews, some could be Christians, some could be of Pakistani or Indian descent, some could be Asian descent as well. I think people will need to realise. I hope this election makes people realise that this country and Reform have the backing of multiple different races. And it's not just an old white man's party, because it isn't. I could see this, I've seen it for a while. You might see some old people like that, but you'll see multiple different candidates from multiple different areas and multiple different backgrounds. At least that's what I think we see. But I could be wrong. There are still 6 more elections to be called in England. And I think 600 elections left. I do have my suspicions that votes might have been tampered with in Scotland.
Wouldn't be the
Cannot
first
tell you
time.
how many. I just have my suspicion. And there's a lot of people, I think, in Scotland that do believe that.
Yeah, I thought so.
Simply because of the fact that literally we didn't get ID'd for vote. And there's multiple cases of people literally being able to vote in America. Americans that are not got American, but are not actually got that live here, are on temporary work visas or student visas that are able to vote. But yeah. Who knows? I think he will probably push for an independence referendum, but I don't honestly think that he'll succeed. So what else is there to talk about?
Wales, they had a reform in terms of how seats are allocated. In previous Welsh Senate elections, they use additional member system where portions of seats are allocated by first past the post constituent single member constituencies, and then another portion of seats are allocated by closed party lists for proportional representation. This year, the Welsh Senate elections, they're now going fully towards the closed private party list proportional representation. So whatever percentage of voters voted for a party within a given broader constituency within Wales also represents the number of members of the Senate that will represent whatever party voters had voted for in the Welsh Senate.
There are only six votes, six regional councils left in Scotland to declare.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking at
don't
that.
honestly know how it will play out. Labour I don't think the SNP are going to gain any more.
Yeah, I think S&P
I
have already
think
reached
I
their limit.
cannot tell if I don't know if it'll be Labour or the Tories or Reform, but I don't. It could.
It's a close call, but towards who's going to be leading the opposition in the Scottish Parliament.
But the thing is, though, we could sort this all tonight, tomorrow, if we really wanted to. If we made a pact to merge the Tories and Reform together, we could probably have at least. Which votes do Reform have? If we were to unite the Reform and the Tories together, we'd have more than 20 seats. It wouldn't be a. Tories have 11 seats, Reform have 15. So that would put us into a majority of 30 versus the SNP's 57. But I don't think they will. Do you think there'll be a chance that Reform and the Tories do a pact?
I'm not ruling out that there is a
Did you notice that
possibility,
there were
which
certain seats that there were certain seats that literally Reform didn't enter, and there was only Tories and Labour. I
okay.
noticed that. It was in seats, by the way. They were doing that. Maybe the reform focus on the outside and they let the Tories take seats in London. Because I knew for a fact they weren't going to do well in London.
Yeah, I thought so
And
too.
even the Tories said, look, we're moving, the Tories, from what it looks like we're going to be a party of the South. A South party. We might, for government general elections, we might actually have to partner with Reform to win elections in the future. So why is Northern Ireland not? Why is Reform not in Northern Ireland?
I think there's a different negotiation in terms of party representation, not just for Northern Ireland in Westminster, but also local elections within Northern Ireland. In the event that people in Northern Ireland and people in the Republic of Ireland want to enact the Good Friday Agreement and reunify the entire island of Ireland.
Do they? No, they don't. The MPs want that, but I don't think people really want that. At least in the majority. So who was the big winner, the second biggest winner of the night? Was it the Greens or was it the Lib Dems? Because I personally think it was the Lib Dems.
Yeah, I was thinking the Lib Dems have overperformed than what most people were expecting Liberal Democrats would do, like always.
I'll give them that. Greens took some seats.
I was expecting a lot more from the Greens, given the downfall that Labour are currently in right now, and of course the
I expect
majority of Green
less.
voters that were from Labour last time a general election happened.
Yes. What about Great Yarmouth first and the fact that they got eight seats?
I think that was I think that was intentional on Rupert Lowe's part. He wanted to only send candidates within the Great Yarmouth constituency for the Norfolk County Council. He wasn't
Do
going to
you
send
think
any
there is
other.
a pact between those two?
I wouldn't know of anything else besides setting councillors of Great Yarmouth within the Great Yarmouth constituency, just so that way there's a strong support base for Rupert Lowe's Westminster seat next time a general election happens. And Rupert Lowe is being strategic about the candidates that he's wanting to send to represent Restore Britain. He's not going to send any more candidates for any other local election years until the general election takes place.
But how are you going to win? How are you going to build a party like that? Again, how are you going to win an election if you don't post candidates? To me, that just views I'm a spoiler candidate. You cannot win elections like that. You actually have to. If he's thinking only that his online presence will allow him to win, he's deluded. And what about all the ordinary voters that literally don't pay attention to politics? People like my mother and stepfather, but I'm not really that clued up in politics. Don't really give a fuck about it. Well, I'm not going to lie. My mother voted one of them was Tories, and the other one was effectively this party called Scottish Party called Family Party, and I think it was mainly just to show like the picture of the party logo. Again, these are the types of voters that that Reform need to Restore need to appeal to, but they're not online. They're not going to understand, look at the politics of things that are going on, and that's just ordinary voters. That's not. They're not like people like you and me that keep an eye on politics, look at stuff, take a look at by-elections. I look at by-elections every single day, every single week, just because I'm curious to know how polling of the country actually is going. I know that England overperformed. I know Wales. Actually, I'm surprised Wales did as well as it did. I honestly thought they were going to underperform in Wales, and I honestly thought they were going to overperform in Scotland, but I was wrong. Who knows? So, how do you feel about literally having a day for having So what do we need to do to increase voter turnout for elections?
I think the issue that's happening right now is that people believe that where voting matters most is at a national level. Voting at a local level doesn't spark anyone's interest. But the thing is,
But if you don't vote at a local level, you don't have the fucking people pushing advertising for your election. You don't have the ground base. You don't have the ground base, you can't win elections.
and that is actually one of the points I was going to make, voting at a local election is more than just an indication of how parties do and how they will perform and commit to their promises in your local community. Voting at local level is also an indication of looking at how do these parties execute and look into local services like education, planning works, construction, recycling, public transit, lots of services that we're surrounded by from day to day.
Yes.
And actually, in my opinion, if you really want to know how people would vote or how people think and believe, look at how people vote in local elections rather than what people vote for at a national level for Westminster. Local election representation and voting patterns is much more important than voting patterns at a national level.
I always thought, I mean, I'm not, maybe this is just me, but I've always thought that local election polling, local elections are a better barometer than opinion polls. I think people sometimes think that election people protest the thing, but they're often a better key indicator of how the mood of a local area is going. They're not always perfect. Things happen, and certain things have certain constituencies have certain different problems. Like the constituency we were talking about earlier in Birmingham, that has been having bin problems. Or like another local constituency that was run under Labour but got taken over by Reform, that effectively was ran into the ground and became bankrupt by government incompetence. But local elections are important. I think a lot of people underestimate how important they are, but they are important. Just what else is there?
Oh yeah, I've also seen there have been mayoral elections as well. Not the devolved mayors, but the council-wide elected mayors. There has been 6 of them in England taking place as well.
I know Greens took one mayoralty in Hackney, but I never really saw the other mayoralties. I don't know if they've already been done or not,
I
but
think I think I think the mayoralties have already been concluded now. So 2 wins for the Greens, 1 for the Tories, 1 for Labour, another for Lib Dems, and another for Aspire, which is a local party in Tower Hamlets.
so how did Tower Hamlets Council vote overall in general?
So the results from Tower Hamlets. Wait, why is not? I'm trying to look at the council results, but they haven't started the counting yet, which is very strange.
That gives me vibes that they're fucking cheating.
Well, I know that.
Did you hear about the fact that Scotland's local elections they didn't start counting until this morning, later on 9 this morning?
Yeah, I would say
That to
this.
me gives I'm cheating. We're about to fucking change people's votes.
Thing is,
I regret not fucking voting with a fucking putting a black ballpoint pen on my thing to cheat.
I was looking at my results for my local borough in Greater Manchester, and whilst all the results for all the Greater Manchester boroughs have been done, my borough, Trafford, yet to allocate and await the full declared results for all the seats that were up. I was like, why on earth is it taking so dang long to count all the votes and allocate the seats that
I
needs to
could
be
have sworn
allocated?
Trafford effectively went to reform, or some seats in Trafford went to reform.
Uh,
I think I saw it because I was watching the elections all last night and today. I'm on holiday, so I'm just going to be watching the local elections, see how well they play. I just hope that when I saw the fact that Scotland earlier didn't have any vote, Reform didn't get many votes in Scotland, I was questioning, holy fuck, did I just waste my vote? Now I'm seeing the fact that literally we're winning mainly on the regional tickets. Not so bad, still shite, but. So where do you see Keir Starmer from now? Does he resign?
Well, Keir Starmer himself said he's refusing to resign and lets the government country crumble down. So he's not backing down no matter how bad results has been for Labour. He's still going to hold.
Reform gained basically 39 seats in Havering. Traditional Labour seat. 130 out of 36 more to go in 41 seats in Suffolk to Reform. 17 seats for the Greens, and 9 seats for the Tories. So here's the task for Reform. Do you think there'll be problems with Reform managing these councils?
Maybe. I'm not saying it's going to be hard, but I'm also saying it's not going to be easy either, especially with the ongoing negotiations and contracts that was made by previous local council governments. If Reform want to deliver on their promises, they have to navigate whatever negotiations and contracts that was made for local councils by the previous parties that had control or been in a coalition with.
If Reform can govern well, it means that literally, if Reform failed to govern these councils, what does that mean for the general election?
Well, that's only the more reason for people on the right to vote for Restore. Not that a lot of people would vote for Restore. However, people are putting in their back minds that if Reform isn't the kind of party what people think Reform would do.
I was in a live stream. There's a lot of people saying, "Oh, we're giving our vote to Reform, but we'll vote Restore in the next election if they're available." A lot of them said if they Restore actually have a viable option. There were some that were going to vote Reform Restore even if they didn't have a viable option. I think that's the mood of what it was. I'm glad that they put aside their fucking pettiness and actually voted back Reform. Maybe we should have done the same thing for the Tories. Maybe we would have had a more united. We would have probably won Scotland. But then again, it would have emboldened the Tories. When in reality, they need to fail. There's 9 more seats to be called in Scotland.
Okay.
When I saw Manchester, I thought, "Oh, this is great, great." I was so happy this morning when I saw Labour get a trashing. But
Even if Reform had gotten great results in Greater Manchester, they still have a long way to go in order for them to achieve like an overall majority in a lot of the metropolitan councils.
yes. But let's be real here, Jamie. None of us really believed that we'd win the metropolitan. We know we would win some of the rural, some of the urban ones. We knew we're never going to win the metropolitan ones. That's our weakness to a certain point. We can win some seats in London, but we're never going to win the metropolitan ones. But then again, do we really need to win those seats?
They don't have
again,
for now. They don't have to. For now,
yeah. In the future, we might need to win some of them. But again, we're never going to. I don't think we were ever going to win the metropolitan seats because it's just not up. It's I don't think we appeal to the metropolitan people, and I think there might be have certain get certain people that would vote Reform, but that are from the metro that are well from the wealthy. But I don't think we'll get that. We're at the stage where we get them. At least not in London. I think Kensington and the likes of that would probably still vote Tories. So when do you think the next general election's called?
Well, despite Keir Starmer's current ongoing unpopularity, and
He can
even
say
if
whatever the fuck he wants. He's not the guy who makes the decision.
and
It's
even
the
if he
fucking
still wants,
backbenchers that make that call.
I'm still saying the latest 2029. At least
You
you
don't
could.
think there's some people they're saying that there's Labour MPs saying we're going to give him till fucking Christmas. This is on Sky News.
I have
Sitting Labour MPs.
I have a feeling Keir Starmer has until this Christmas before he gets ousted as leader.
And I think the only reason why they're doing that is they're going to try and squeeze Burnham back into Parliament. But the thing is, with what fucking seat? They lost in Wigan. They basically wiped out in Manchester. And you think you really want to put the chance of that? You really want a chance for Reform or the Greens to take Manchester, the city, the mayoralty? Oh, I learned something soon, right? There's going to be there's going to be a chance for a Westminster seat possibly in where I live, because Stephen Flynn's won a seat, a Holyrood seat, and his Westminster seat effectively will be up for grabs, I think, or at least I hope it would be. I think it's wrong if it isn't. So what's the chances that SNP that Scotland get independence?
That is a good question. And whilst they're all absolutely banging on about
They
independence
don't
from the
have the
Union,
votes. They don't have the votes. You got to remember that there's people that voted the Lib Dem. They got Lib Dems. You got the Tories, Conservatives.
and
I
if
mean,
that being the case, what?
Tories have like 11 votes. Reform have 15. 15, 11, 15. And that's not including the Lib Dems. Two parties that are pro-independence are the Greens and the SNP. Lib Dems are pro-Britain. Conservatives are pro-Britain. Reform are pro-Britain. Labour are pro the UK. The odds are against them. But who knows?
Who knows?
So when's the next big set of elections?
Hmm. Like
I hear we've got
locally,
some more We've got some more like MP elections. I think some more important elections next year, and then there's more after. My question is: Reform won all these seats, right?
huh?
How will they defend them?
Well, the
They'll
same way
probably be
they,
able to defend these.
I think I think Reform now should have some experiences defending
They
local
have. They
seats.
still have. They've defended some seats, but they've lost seats.
Yeah, of course.
Not in
So
some. I think they're good at defending some of them.
unless there's a completely different strategy for Reform, I think Reform will try to defend seats the same way they were trying to gain seats from other parties.
Do you think there becomes a coalition government? Do you think the SNP will have like a secret? No, the Tories and Reform will have a secret pact or a defensive pact where we don't trample each other in like frickin' Scotland. Like they let Reform do the regional list, do that, and we just vote and we vote Tory on the frickin' thingy. We get our votes on the frickin' side thing. You guys get the votes on yours. And we take seats from both sides of the thingy.
That is a possibility, but only time will tell if something like that will be pulled off or executed in the not so distant future.
Oxford, I hear that they voted heavy to the Greens. I think Cambridge did pretty well with reform though. I think we did really well with Cambridge. We didn't do as well as they poll predictions said. They said we'd get 2,000 seats, possibly. We're getting 1,400. Mind you, we still have a decent amount of London councils, but so what else is there?
Have you heard of the plan to abolish the county councils and replace them all with unitary authorities?
What does that do?
So, last time I checked, I think the plan with the reorganization of local governments is that all of the existing county councils, like Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, somewhere in the south, a couple in the south and
Why would
southeast.
we want to do that? That would just mean that would get rid of vote. That would reduce Reform and Tories' voter share. Why would you want to do that?
Well, they argue that the two-tier local government system is too complicated and messy, so they wanting to simplify it, like try and merge the district and the district councils, making them larger and reducing the size
No,
of
we
the
don't
county.
want larger governments. Larger local councils means literally less representation. It means literally it gives certain types of constituencies like Labour more power. We want less. If you merge unitary governments, you're just going to give Labour and the Greens more power.
Well, the thing is, this year the Surrey County Council has been abolished and now it's been replaced with two unitary authorities, West Surrey and East Surrey, both newly formed unitary authorities. And they were up for elections this year. All of the seats, they're newly created.
We want them.
Lib Dems won both of them, full majority.
See, this is why we don't want them. Was a certain location place that you didn't think Reform would do well?
No,
Were you expecting them to do that well in Wales, or was it a guarantee
thing
that
is,
we?
I think for the longest time that I knew that there was growing support for reform in Wales. I knew reform would get a handful of seats in Wales, but that was it. So I knew this was going to happen. I knew reform were going to win seats in Wales. I
What
was
boggles me is the fact that Reform didn't even enter Newham. It's basically a straight fight between Labour and the Greens, which is interesting. So, who do you think the Plaid Cymru partner with to get themselves over the line voting wise?
I thing is 49 seats is needed for a majority, so Plaid Cymru is only 6 seats short. So given the results that's now been put out, I think Plaid Cymru most likely partnership has to be with Labour.
The Labour only have 9 seats. Will that be enough to get them over it?
Plaid
The
Cymru
Lib
has
Dems have 1 seat, and the Greens have 2, I think, in Wales. But yeah, who knows?
who knows?
Reform have 14 councils, Labour have 27, 15. But most of them are down to no overall control. Or effectively control, but by one vote. The Tories no longer have any councils. which means they have fuck all ground support now. Because the Tories only have 11%, 11 votes. Does that mean that they'll have to join partnership with Reform in Scotland for representation?
They could, but I doubt that would ever come to fruition.
Why
I'm
would
not.
it?
I'm not sure if any party would ever want to work with Reform, even if it means it would help with forming a majority coalition government to pass whatever legislation they want to pass.
What makes you think the Tories would never do that?
To be honest, whilst there's going to be ideas that Tories and Reform would be hand in hand with, the thing is, out of the former Tories that have joined Reform, what if the ex-Tories say to the newly elected Reform candidates, saying, "Remember what happened when Tories were in power? Like, not that there isn't going to be any form of collaboration at any point in the future. It's just the ex-Tories in Reform, given the experience they had once they were back when they were Tories, they would use that experience to say that I don't believe working with the Tories on this thing and that thing would work because I was there and look where look at the mess we're in right now. That's my argument I have as of now. Only time will tell if the Tories could actually reshape how they go ahead with not just getting votes for next set of elections, but also in terms of if Reform and the Tories could eventually, in the next few years, form a coalition of some sort at any level.
Yes. I don't think we're going to get any new results going down the night. I think what we've got is what we've got. Really just repeating the same stuff. But who knows?
Who knows?
The fact that why is there still like tons of elections being counted at this point in time? I thought all elections would have been done by now.
Well, the thing is, and there's two factors to why there are some councils still counting votes. A, some councils actually start counting votes later after 10 p.m. yesterday, last night. In fact, there are some councils that don't actually start counting votes until tomorrow morning after the voting had been completed. And B,
But all the voting stopped it on Friday night, didn't it?
yes, they did. But the thing is, and I was getting to the second reason, some areas, whilst they try to be equal in the size of wards and districts, metropolitan, other councils, so on, the amount of seats that have to be allocated, the more seats that needs to be allocated for in any given council, the longer, most likely, it will take for all the votes to be counted. And another thing is, there are different voting systems for different councils. There are some councils where you vote for one candidate from one party, or in some councils, you actually can give two votes to two candidates. So there could be councils where each party sends in two candidates per ward, and then voters can give their two votes to two candidates, either of the same party or one vote each from two different parties. So there's different voting systems for different councils.
In Scotland, we have 3 votes:
Of
two
course.
for a regional, two for the regional one, and one for the local, like and one for the 2 regional and 1 local. I think, well, I think it's local, but well, it's 3 votes anyway. You vote two. 2 ones, 3 votes effectively is what you get. 1 on one ballot paper and 1 on the other. So, does this change anything with Reform winning? Does it send a message? Does it mean anything?
Oh, it sends a message, all right. And I think this is going to continue for the next few local elections till 2029, which is the latest when all of the Westminster seats are up.
Hmm.
I doubt Labour would ever call an early general election, given the majority they currently have.
Not even if they look through his own MPs threatened to vote get rid of him. You don't think he would do it out of spite?
No, because look how big Labour's majority is. Why on earth any Labour leader give that up? Even given
Why
the
would
current
he
unpopularity they
I
have.
don't think Stormer likes the job, and I don't think he can be arsed. He can be arsed with it. Maybe he wants to get a job in the EU, an elected job in the EU. Maybe he wants to replace Ursula von der Leyen, or maybe he wants to effectively take the job of the NATO secretary, an unelected job that nobody votes for, or maybe he wants to take a job in the WEF or Fabian Society. Maybe he wants to take a high up position in Fabian Society. I don't think the guy really wants to be in politics. He's done it for a long, long time. And I think at a certain point, I think he wants to leave. And I think if they give him the option, I think he would burn the place down. But I could be wrong. I wonder if we're actually going to see results tonight, or is there nothing?
For now, this is all that we know of in terms of the current climate in the UK.
I don't think the elections matter. I don't think elections matter, in my honest opinion. But then again, I don't agree with the whole mantra of, well, I shouldn't vote. Because if you don't vote, I know nothing will change realistically, but then again, I don't think you have a right to complain about the state of the country. People voted the SNP, even though I doubt that. So we basically voted for people who are anti-oil and gas. My only wish is, I think, the fact that literally we might actually get people that have what push same policies of oil and gas in Westminster. Do you think the UK will gain territory at some point? More territory? Do you think we're stuck with what we've got?
I think we're just stuck for what we got.
You don't think we could get any other areas who want to join us?
And like international organizations,
Countries, smaller countries,
not
maybe.
not.
Is it possible?
It's a small possibility.
What countries would that be, though?
Countries that are desperate for our assets and military power.
Ireland? Do you see anything like Kanzuk being a possibility?
I do, yes.
Good, good. Will it happen in our lifetime?
Well, you know the referendum for the Canadian province of Alberta to secede from Canada?
Yes.
I believe a moment like that will come sooner than we expect.
And what do you think the result of that will be? Or what do you think they'll make it be? Because you know the powers that be. They often play their games.
So, what I believe the outcome would be is, well, the question is, do you want the province of Alberta to secede from Canada and join the United States? And then the question would be yes, no, and as it stands now, it could change. I assume a clear majority of Alberta citizens would want to secede from Canada to join the United States
I
as the
don't think
fifth
they want to join
state.
the United States, so I think they want to be independent. Should be a sovereign country. I don't think they want to join the US. I think they want to be their own country. But you've also got Quebec that wants independence as well. I think I heard something about Canadians like basically calling it that as there's this like governmental, this like foreign conspiracy for basically a foreign American of Americans trying to convince Albertans to freaking secede from the Union. So where do you think the US British alliance falls? Do you think the relationship is dead? Do you think Trump has isolated America? Do you think the UK and Europe will grow closer together? And do you see us drifting apart economically, militarily, and economically from the United States of America and forming bigger ties with Canada, Australia, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Saudi Arabia, and the Middle East?
That is a lot of questions. And yet, somehow, as it stands now, there are so little answers. I know one thing is for sure, guaranteed, what Trump has done as President of the United States in his second term, he has pushed a lot of his allies away, further and further, leaving him and the US all on their own.
Am I wrong to think that he's pushed a lot of conservatives away from him as well in the UK?
No, you wouldn't be wrong for that. I do believe that there will be
Because I've been
people.
thinking that as well.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm not that fond of him that much anymore. I don't. His old bullshit with Iran and telling us that we're not a military force. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't buy the whole bullshit that we're a shit. We don't have a military and we're broke and we don't have the military. I don't buy that for a freaking second. I'm sorry. He's mad at what he keeps the US keeps on saying we don't have a military. We couldn't send ships. No, dude, we just didn't want to. I don't think it's that we couldn't send ships. I just think it's politically we didn't want to. It wasn't in our financial interests. Number two, we knew it would piss off the fucking locals in our country. And three, why should we waste the money on you? Because Israel made itself a pariah in the world. And where do they go from here?
I think Israel is in hot water as it is right now.
Rabban Mahmoud, devastating night in Birmingham across the country. Good public servants, colleagues and friends have lost their seats. This was a verdict on us, not them. The PM has rightfully said we must do better. It's a privilege to serve British people and we must live up to it. No, he should resign. Starmer promised the fucking world and he didn't deliver. That is on him. Innocent local councillors are suffering and losing their jobs and their seats because of Starmer's incompetence. I kind of feel for the local councillors. They've got families to feed. They're just doing their job. Being dealing with his marching orders, and he's sentenced them to lose their jobs, their livelihoods, which is not right. But yeah, where do? So, what do you think the next agenda will be? Do you think he's going to go back to pushing digital ID next?
You could, but I think at this point, I think people already know that that's not going to happen because if people have been strongly against digital IT from the first time round, that won't be any different second time, third time, so on and so forth. And people are gonna keep bringing up how many times he's trying to bring up digital ID to be implemented, and people are like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that at all.
And that's not just from the Tories, that's not just from Labour, that's from his own fucking voters. I don't really think the people of Runcorn and Helsby, I don't think the great people of Newcastle, Manchester, Newcastle upon Tyne, I don't think Somerset, even the people in Somerset and Dorset, I don't even think they want it. Oh yeah, we won Dudley as well in Derby. Won a lot of seats. My question is, will Reform is taking in a lot of coalition of both left-wing and right-wing people. How will Reform be able to manage those demographics of people from different political aisles that have different viewpoints? Will that eventually fail and the party breaking in two? Or will we learn to have a coexistence? Reform, Nigel Farage did a interesting speech. He said, we might have personal grievances. Some people might have personal grievances in this, but keep it civil. Don't also, like, if you're going to, don't air out in public. Sit down in a room, hash it out in an office room, in a room, on a cubicle. Do you think you'll be the next Prime Minister, or do you think it'll be someone else from Reform? And do you think Reform suffers from key man risk?
I think Nigel Farage could likely become the next Prime Minister.
Does Reform have key man risk, or is it Reform not stable enough because we've got guys like Robert Jenrick that might have a future successor pipeline down the road?
I think there are potential candidates for new Reform UK leadership if Nigel Farage ever decides to either step down or decide, I don't want to be
Do
Prime
you
Minister
think they're
anymore.
ever going to try and push? Do you think Zia Yusuf will ever try and become Prime Minister?
I think he would.
I just don't think it's him. I just don't think he's that interested in it. Why would you want the job? It's a fucking thankless job, in my honest opinion. If I were him, I don't even think he wants to be an MP. Well, maybe he wants to be an MP. Maybe he'll run as an MP and be the Chancellor of Exchequer, but I don't honestly think he wants a job as being PM. Some say he does, but I think Robert Jenrick is a potential leader. I think Suella Braverman is a potential leader. Do you think we'll see any more defections, or is that the end?
I think there could be more defections, just not as much as the last few defections that happened this year or the year before that.
Do you think we'll see which parties do you think that'll be? And also, we won seats from the Lib Dems and Greens, council wise as well.
Yeah. I still believe that majority of defections will come from the Tories.
Do we want them though?
It depends if they're willing to commit to the bits. If
Do
they
you think
believe
we'll
that,
see? Do you think we'll see Jacob Rees-Mogg join?
no, I think Jacob is doing his own thing, not just with his YouTube channel, but I know Jacob Rees-Mogg has been doing other things ever since he was voted out in the last general election. So
Yeah, I do also believe he does love his country, and I think he probably would run again if he could. I think he probably would run again in another election if he would. I just. Well, do you think Kenny Badenoch time is as a Tory leader is going to come to an end at some point pretty soon, or do you think that she's done enough to stabilise herself, keep
I
power
think
for her?
I think it's a mix of both. At first, when she became leader,
I would
it
think
was not
so.
very
Well, so
popular,
far.
and this was before Robert Jenrick even defected to Reform, because people was expecting that if Kemi Badenoch continued being not so popular, Robert Jenrick would be the next Tory leader. However, the moment that Robert Jenrick defected to Reform, any form of competition for the Tory leadership eradicated, for the most part. So Kemi Badenoch was trying whatever she can, although could have been better in my opinion. Nonetheless, I think at some point, even if Kemi Badenoch is doing okay for the Tories, keeping that party afloat as it currently stands now, even if they're not getting the results that they want, at some point, towards the year before the general election, I think it's a coin toss if people are wanting a new Tory leader in preparation for the next general election.
Who would they go with? James Cleverly?
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking James Cleverly could
But
be the.
we stormed his backyard. We took his constituents. Reform 1S all of Essex. And her seats are a fucking low turnout. If an election were held today, she would be out. Bad luck would be out. I think we also took seats in Greenwich as well. What about Ed Davies? Do you think he'll be replaced?
No. Ed Davies is going to keep on going until he wants to.
So you don't think there's a potential challenger from Ed Davies, for someone to replace Ed Davies?
I mean, there could be other people that could become Labour of the Liberal Democrats. However, given what the results Lib Dems have.
The Lib Dems and the Scottish Lib Dems and the English Lib Dems, they're two separate parties, aren't they?
Yes.
Interesting.
But I know for sure that Ed Davey, as the leader of the English Liberal Democrats, he's here to stay for who knows how many years to come.
What, because they have no challenger?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Do you think Zach Polanski is a potential threat to reform in Labour?
To Labour, yes. To Reform, it's a bit of here, a bit of there.
Do you think they're a threat to the Tories? The Greens?
I don't think the Tories, as it stands now, pose any challenge to the Greens whatsoever.
Do you think Restore have any chance of winning winning MP seats in the next election, apart from Great Yarmouth?
A couple, not a lot, but at least they'll win
Would it be
enough seats.
is it in our best interest to just leave them do their own thing?
The thing is,
Well,
I believe in the next general election, Restore Britain may not win a lot of seats, they could win enough seats to stop Reform getting a big majority.
and what does that benefit?
Well, it benefits the next party who could be up for the premiership.
Like Tories? Who do you think will be the opposition come the next election? Will it be the Lib Dems? Will it be the Tories? Will it be Labour?
I think,
Because I'm curious.
I'm curious too. I know one thing's for sure, Labour will not be the opposition leader come the next general election.
How many seats do you think they'll be drilled down to? And do you think this result here of them losing, do you think this will lead to a massive exodus of defections from Labour to the Greens?
Mm,
I mean, e.g., more
I
more
don't
liberal MPs
think,
in Labour.
even if there are defections away from Labour, it's complicated on what defections that would entail. There could be some going to the Greens. There'll be a few that might go to Lib Dems. And although many people are not saying that your parties are going to go anywhere, but I do think, even though your party is
Your
not doing,
party They only got 28 votes in one election.
Yeah, it's not very good. But somehow, and I'm not saying it's going to happen now or in the distant not future, over time there could be some defections, not a lot, but some from Labour to your party, like Sarah Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn, somehow.
Do you think where do you think Jeremy Corbyn goes from here? Do you think he just joins the Greens? Or did he join the Greens?
No, Jeremy Corbyn is parliamentary leader for your party, and I think it's going to stay that way for many years that he is still in politics.
So what do the Greens stand for?
I think the Greens stand for left-wing liberal ideology. That's at least my rough understanding.
I think they stand for left wing. Though I don't think it's left wing. I just think it's literally they stand for like pushing a Muslim Britain. I think they stand for pushing the Quran. I think they stand for implementing a jihad Britain. I think that is whether that is truly what they think. I think the way things stand right now, I think big swabs of the Greens, and I think ultimately the Green Party will probably change to the Muslim Party of Great Britain. I think they will usurp the Greens over time, and effectively they will become the Muslim Party of Great Britain. I think Moffat Ali, I think he will become the next leader of the Greens. I don't think Polanski is ever going to run for election. I think he's a good focal point. They'll keep him for now, as he does buzz and he brings a crowd and he brings people into the party. But I don't think he'll be running the general election. I think they'll be putting that Muslim guy, and I think they'll tell the Muslim crowds, mainly for the people they take from Labour, to vote for this guy. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but I don't think the Greens will do well nationally. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I don't think they'll do nationally. I think they are regionally to mainly schools. To schools. The thing is, I think the Green Party's split in two ways, right? You've got the college idiots, right, that vote for them, right? Mainly young women that vote for the Greens, right? But then you've also got the big crowd of Muslim vote, right? Mainly more the jihadi, more the extremist Muslims. Don't get me wrong, Reform's got Muslims in their party, but they to me seem like more moderates. They want conservative policies, they just want to get on with their lives and do the thing. Who knows? Maybe I could be wrong, and maybe the Greens are like that as well. They just want to pay taxes. They just want a fairer Britain. But maybe I'm naive. Do you think demographics are changing in the UK?
Yes.
I will say this, Jamie. 20 years ago in my country, 20 years ago in my local city, right? You'd be hard fucking pressed to see a fucking Indian in my country. You'd be hard pressed to see a fucking Asian, or even Korean or Chinese, right? I'm not racist. I don't really care about that, but 20 years ago, you would never fucking seen them. They were non-existent. I think you'd be fucking hard pressed to see a fucking black person 20 years ago where I lived. Jamie, where I lived was 90% white, right? Don't get me wrong, there's still a decent amount of people, but I've just started to notice over the last 3 years that the population's changing in areas. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. It just is what it is. And it's starting to change in the local city, in my local area as well, in my village and where I live. And my village is like a population of 19,000 people, second biggest village. Populations are changing. Like we used to have a big population of Polish people. I don't think people realised it, but I don't think Reform realised it. But if Reform did take seats in the local election, it'll be because of the Polish people in my area because they probably voted for them. But who knows? And I'm sure there's different different generations and all other stuff that voted. It's just populations are changing. I'm not sure it's a good thing. I'm not sure it's a bad thing. Only time will tell.
I think it depends on what those populations are
Yeah,
and
it
what
depends on
impacts
what
it
those
has on local
populations want, what
communities.
they plan to do. If they just want to pay their taxes and live their lives, then fine, and I'm okay with that. But part of you does believe that maybe they are starting, some of them are trying to push certain agendas in politics. Or maybe it's certain parties trying to push certain stoke hatred. So what else is there? Or is that us?
I think that is us.
Okay.